On today's podcast, we have the co-founders of what some may say is the Airbnb of home gyms. I'm not sure if Andrew or Trevor truly appreciate that title, but that's a good way to say what GORX is doing right now, at least give a good idea. But anyways, we do have the co-founders, Andrew Towers and Trevor Hall. And we're going to go straight into the introductions. Andrew, can you start us off by just giving us a 1 to 2 minute introduction of who you are, and then we'll do the same for Trevor.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you letting us join you on this podcast. We've been big time fans, been paying attention and watching for a while, so it's pretty cool, man. So I'm Andrew Towers, just recently separated from active duty military. Now in the job hunt while we work on GORX Fitness. I've been a home gym owner since 2016. I started off with a cheap rack like most of us do and built it over time. So I've sort of built my home gym into more of like a CrossFit style home gym. You can see behind me, I've got a couple of the different concept machines here. So I started my micro gym journey in 2020, and now I've got a few clients. The gym's paying for itself, and I even recently got an air runner with the earnings. So that's a little bit about me. You can obviously jump on social media. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn if someone wants to know more about me. Trevor, go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah, my name's Trevor Hall. I've been a home gym owner since 2019. Started compiling all of my equipment in July of 2019 as kind of a birthday gift to myself. Lo and behold, it was the perfect time to purchase home gym equipment, especially leading into 2020. Yes. Got pretty lucky with that. So I started out with just a bar and some bumper plates and a few kettlebells. And it's grown into with a rack, and now I have an air bike, and and this is my wife's Soul Cycle behind us. But we have a bunch of other equipment now that kind of has kitted out the rest of the gym. I wrestled for about 25 years, got pretty competitive with it all the way up into Division I wrestling in college. And I linked up with Andrew.
Humble. He was a killer.
I made it to some pretty high places in wrestling. So, and then we linked up probably a year and a half ago, I would say, and started talking to each other about this business concept. I started noticing that my friends and family members would want to use my home gym during 2020 when everything else was locked down. And so that's kind of where the concept came into my mind. And yeah, we ran with it.
Cool. I think you can, if you started a home gym before 2020, I think you can technically call yourself a home gym OG these days. Yeah. So it's nice to have nice to be talking to a few of you. All right. So Trevor, you started chatting about how you guys started working together. It was about a year and a half. Would you guys mind just reliving that story and just telling me specifically how that happened?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So I'll start with my origin story when it comes to GORX Fitness. So in 2020, I was in Afghanistan on deployment, and as everyone knows, it was COVID. So we got locked down, even deployed. So I was in a place called Kandahar at Camp Brown, and I had a little extra time, so I was thinking about ways that I could earn some extra income. And at this point, I had my home gym is pretty nice even then. So I thought, hey, why don't I start training people from my gym? So I started working out what that would look like, trying to, structure it in a way that I could do it while still serving. And so as I was building out that plan, I got thinking there should be an app. There should be some sort of platform that connects people with home gym owners, something that makes this whole process easier. So I did a little research, and I found a platform that wasn't active at the time, but in 2016, 17, it started. It blew up pretty quickly, and then not sure, but the app, I guess, was sunset. So there wasn't an option that I could find at that time. So I decided, why not try to build it myself? So I started GORX Fitness. It was officially formed in early last year, and linked up with an agency in the UK to help build the app, which was delivered about a month ago. So that's sort of the origin story for me. Trevor's got an equally interesting one too, if you want to jump in.
Well, like I said a little bit ago, I was just working out and kind of sometimes posted my workouts on Instagram or whatever. And I would have family members and friends notice that I was working out in my garage, and they were jealous of me because all of the gyms in the area were shut down or limited capacity. So they wouldn't be able to be in the gym for very long, or they couldn't have very many people in the gym. And if they got there and it was already crowded, they wouldn't be able to go in. So they started coming over and working out at my house and everything. And I thought that there had to be a better way to organize that and also even monetize it and allow other people that had home gyms to kind of connect and create some sense of community to be able to work out even when everything else was locked down. So I kind of started working on the business model and looking around at other companies or anyone out there that had a similar vision. And I linked up with Andrew, and we started chatting just back and forth about the business model and how it could be successful and what would really be cool about the business model being successful. And we decided to eventually kind of join up and bring both of our IP together as a company and run with it. So
Yeah, man. Let me jump in. I would say Trevor has a really similar story to a lot of people that we've connected with on social media, specifically that started their business, their home gym business, or training clients from home gym during COVID, and then they haven't gone back. I think that's a really common story for a lot of people these days, especially post-COVID.
Awesome. And I want to definitely chat about some of those reasons that people decide to do that later. But sort of back to the story. So it was a few years ago, this was kind of conceived. And then about a year and a half ago or so, a year ago, it was like kind of started to really go after it. And Andrew, you were active military at the time. Trevor, what kind of background do you have, and why do you two make a good match? Or why did you guys ultimately decide to work with each other as opposed to, going out and hiring people?
Yeah, I think my fitness background brings into the realm of everything with GORX and with the business model. And so being active and wrestling and working out a lot kind of just brought that interest level in this type of business model up. And so it's kept me pretty passionate about the business in general. My background, I work in software. I work for a SaaS company, a SaaS startup out of San Francisco. And I just do consultant work for them. And I've been kind of in different technological roles for the last probably 10 years now in my career. And so that allows me to have a fairly good grasp on the technical side of things, but also because I do consultancy work with the different companies that I work with, I spend a lot of time in front of people. I have to talk to a lot of different clients and different people out there. And so I've been starting to get a good handle of being able to talk to all different types of people. And it allows me to be able to reach out to individuals about GORX and talk to them and kind of level with them on whatever different levels they're at, especially with their home gym or without.
Yeah, I would also say that, as Trevor and I started talking about GORX Fitness, we talking about the, potential for it and the interest in it. I think the energy that Trevor brought to the conversation was one of the main drivers for us to connect and to work out some sort of arrangement where we could co-found this business. Because of his wealth of experience and startup experience, it was a natural occurrence. I mean, it just worked out the way it did, and it was almost like one of those things where you meet someone and you think, "Have I met this dude before?" Like, what? There was a familiarity between the two of us right from the start that. Sort of was, it confirmed for us that this was a good match. Absolutely.
Cool. And what specifically does the app do? Or could you just give us an explanation of what the app looks like right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the app is, it's an MVP. So it was delivered, like I said, a couple of weeks ago. Right now, as an MVP, it's a full stack application. So a home gym owner can use the app to do personal training sessions. They can run a class, small group fitness. They can offer, drop-ins. They can charge a subscription. They can set the time duration that a person could come and rent their gym, whether it's a half hour or 2 hours. They can set that time up. They can communicate with people through in-app messaging. They can collect their waivers, if someone steps in. I mean, there's a global terms of service that everyone signs, obviously, when they sign up. But we built in a feature that allows these home gym owners to create their own terms of service, their own waiver. And then any user that's going to use their gym would have to agree to that before they can use their gym. So we created that layer of liability coverage. But there are a lot of other ways you can use it. So if you're a trainer that likes to teach a class at the park, the app will support that. So within the same profile, gym profile, you can offer class sets at the local park, or you could do it at your home if you have a large enough space, or if that's a service that you want to offer. So those are a number of different ways that trainers and home gym owners could use this app. So it's not, so you were talking about Airbnb for home gym. So in a way, users will experience it that way. So if I'm a gym goer and I'm looking for a home gym to check out, like I might use it as I would use an Uber or Air Gym. I'm going to go in, I'm going to search for a location. I'm going to filter by the gym type. I'm going, if it's a powerlifting, I'm looking for CrossFit, MMA style, or I'm a, pregnant mother looking for prenatal, fitness classes. So I can filter out what I'm looking for by location. I'll check out the profile. I'll reserve, book a session, pay for a plan, book a session, and go work out. So from that perspective, it's, like no different than how you would experience those other apps, those other like peer-to-peer networking apps. So the gym owner, they will experience it more as a full stack application, more of like a software that will help them manage their business. So it's a little more robust on that side, on the back side. There's a lot more features even for an MVP. Trevor, did you have anything that you wanted to add on that? I think that covers most of what.
Yeah, I think that covers most. I mean, the ability to take payments and everything through there, so you can set the different the different membership types and everything, and so you have the ability to maintain your gym membership, but then also the payments the app will allow gym users to also search for other gyms on the platform and go use those gyms without necessarily breaking their membership to another gym or anything like that. They can go and do one-time fees at other gyms to, if they're looking for different types of equipment that they want to use or specialized equipment or anything like that, they'll have the ability to go and check that out and use that equipment and not necessarily be beholden to a single gym.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And you'll be able to build out your calendar too. Like a trainer will be able to say, this is a one-time event. This is a conference. This is a competition, whatever it is. This is one thing I'm doing. Or I can build out a calendar that lasts, indefinitely. I can say, this is an open gym time. This is, every day at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, that sort of thing. So there's flexibility even in their scheduling and building out their schedule.
Got it. So who would you say, who would you say the primary people that would consider signing up are? Are they your normal home gym owners who may have just above average home gym and they're like, oh, maybe I can snag a few dollars here and there with people renting out the gym? Or are you seeing more like trainers who are trying to build businesses from their homes?
Yeah, great question. So, Trevor, go ahead. You had a thought.
I was just going to jump in. I was just going to say, anyone with a home gym, a shed, barn gym, anything like that would be able to list on this platform. It's essentially if you have a dedicated space for fitness and you're willing to allow someone else to come and use it, then you can set whatever price you believe that your space holds value. And so, even a very low price, if you have just a little bit of equipment, if there's somebody out there that wants to even just dabble in using a home gym or even just testing out how having their own equipment at home would work, they'd be able to do so. And so, anyone with a home, shed, barn, gym, anything like that, we kind of like to use the phrase micro gym in that aspect. And then we also see, a lot of value for personal trainers. Anyone that has moved their personal training business from whatever big box gym that they were working at and losing, basically 70% of their personal training fee to that big box gym. Now they can kind of bring that business back and make a little bit more money on that end at home. And then fitness influencers or anything like that, if somebody has a really cool gym or has a massive or very unique gym listed on the platform, and influencers want to go in there and film their videos and do all that stuff with their audience, then they can do so, and the home gym owner will have the ability to charge a fee for that.
Yeah. I'll jump in. So, right now we don't have any users. Okay. So we're in this phase right now. We're trying to build our team, and, once we have our team in place, we'll start. We're looking for alpha testers now. People jump on and help us improve the app experience. But I will say the people that we are observing that are running their gyms like a micro gym, and there's a number of people, especially after COVID. You could probably speak to your audience about that. I think I saw your survey that said 8% of your audience that engaged in a story a couple of weeks ago run businesses from their home gym. And so what we're seeing is that people that are doing this are often, they sort of quiet quit from their full-time job, and they're looking to break into a new venture. I'm seeing stay-at-home mothers and fathers running businesses from their garage or shed. We're seeing new and recent personal training graduates who have their home gym set up, running businesses from their home gym. And a lot of these people are very successful. There are literally influencers who have built a business model around how to train a trainer to run a successful home gym business. And so, what we've seen is our people that are making a few $1,000s up to tens of thousands of dollars a month in running a business, in a successful business from their home gym. So I would say that it's a very diverse community of people that are engaging in this business, but there's no platform, there's no business that's sort of trying to pull the community together under sort of one roof. And so that's in sort of a nutshell what we're trying to accomplish with GORX Fitness.
Got it. And for some listeners, they may not understand, or they may not have heard the term micro gym. It's something that you've mentioned earlier in the call. And then also just a term you hear every once in a while now within the industry. Could one of you explain what specifically a micro gym is?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So a micro gym is it's not a term that we've coined, right? So this is not something that GORX Fitness, Trevor, or Andrew Towers has invented. So micro gym is a word that's used in the commercial gym space for gyms that are like 150 members and less. So think CrossFit gyms, F45 type gyms, Orange Theory Fitness. These are people that consider their gym a micro gym. So what we're doing is we're applying micro gym to our audience and our use case. So we think of a micro gym. When we think of a micro gym, personally, I don't think of the CrossFit gym. I don't think of, F45 gym. I think of that as a commercial gym. Micro gym seems to fit. And there's, a lot of positive feedback on, this phrasing around micro gym. So it's a gym that starts small, stays small, but we're applying it to these home gym businesses.
Yeah. To add on to that, the term micro gym, can mean so many different things, right? And so that's why we like to explain to people that, it could fit that shed, that barn gym, moniker. It can, the garage gym, the home gym moniker. It can also, small boutique fitness centers or anything like that can kind of fit into that micro gym definition. And it's essentially anyone that has a fitness space that wants to monetize it can be labeled a micro gym business.
Yeah. And our platform is built for people that are starting these businesses. You can call it a studio, you could call it a boutique gym, you could call it at-home training space. It doesn't really matter. We're just applying common language to it. So, but micro gym is also could be a misnomer in a sense where there's people that, train as MMA trainers, they'll train their athletes from their home gym. And so they might not call it, a micro gym, but they're people that are running, a fitness business from their home gym. And in that same community, that same demographic can use our app, right? So we built it in a way that there is flexibility. There is a way to pull in people that have all different kinds of interests. Because as you know, Jake, probably better than most people, right? I mean, the home gym community is very diverse in how people apply their personality to their gym, right? I mean, it's sort of a reflection of that person. And so we see this GORX Fitness community being as diverse of a community in what they offer and the services that they offer.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Andrew, I'd be really curious to hear your story as a micro gym owner. You mentioned earlier, like you recently used the funds from what you were doing to purchase an air runner. I think you said, yeah. I mean, I would love to hear how you started and how that evolved over the last few years.
Yeah. So let me full disclaimer. So my priority effort since leaving the Army has been GORX Fitness. So I'm running a micro gym right now for my garage gym, and I have clients that come in and use it. But my focus has been, on GORX Fitness and making sure that we have a platform, we have something that users that provide people value. So with that being said, I started my micro gym the same time I started GORX Fitness. And the idea was I would create a business that would sort of model what I was trying to build. And I found through social media that there's already a ton of people that are doing it. And I'm not modeling anything that there aren't other people that I could point, someone that might be interested in starting a micro gym too. But so I started in, I guess, January 2021, and just been telling all my Army buddies about it, who've told other friends and family about what I'm doing. And so the people that seem to be coming to my gym right now are people within the military community. And so I have right now a client right now that I'm training to prepare for boot camp. And I've got a client that, is no fours, is an officer, is a field grade officer who's just wants to be prepared for a wedding coming up. So my journey has been more organic growth. So I don't do local marketing. I don't do that stuff. Though these are spaces that we help provide services to people that do onboard as an affiliate micro gym at GORX. But I have over time built a clientele that covers everything that, the overhead for running a micro gym is like less than $100 a month. So, I'm not paying rent, not paying more, mortgage to commercial, whatever enterprise. This is run out of my home gym. So the overhead's pretty simple. So even just a few clients that I have pay for it. And so what I was talking about before is, I made enough money that I went out and bought myself a Assault Air Runner. And so, and some other equipment too with those proceeds. So the money that I make right now, I pour back into the business. And so I'm trying to create for those clients that do find me through Google an experience that is a private, workout that they don't have to worry about peak times and gym bros and gym creeps. They don't have to worry about, walking in front of someone's Instagram reel as they go to the gym. They can do curls at the squat rack if they want to do curls at the squat rack. So that's the experience I'm trying to create through peak functional fitness is what I call it. If that doesn't answer questions, let me know and make sure that I want to answer your question.
No, that answers my question. It was really just looking for a specific example of what somebody, like what it looked like.
Yeah. Well, if you want examples, dude, check out, there's, Sierra Whiskey Fitness. I think of her. She's just started her business, micro gym in upstate New York, and she's crushing it. I think of Primal Fitness, Coach Jen. Forget the state that she's out of. These aren't like affiliate gyms. These are just people I've connected with. And she does class. She's got like 8 clients a class, and she does a few classes a week. She's also crushing it. So there are lots of examples out there, and I'm not the only one. So if people are looking for examples, they can hit me up, and I'll be happy to show them not just me, but what other people are doing with their home gym.
Yeah, I actually, I'm not sure if you heard the podcast with Jason from Surplus Strength, who he created the universal pulley system, but it was probably 3 or so years ago. He basically left his corporate job, started training people out of his home gym. And like through training from his home gym, he like created a product that he like saw the need for a product of somebody training from his home gym. went out and created it. And, you know, as he was building out his business, he was still training people on the side, because, you know, as you're starting a company, it's really hard to just take everything that you put into it out, because you want to continue to reinvest. So it was nice for him to like continue to have another job. I think he's still actually training some people, but yeah, that was a really good example. And yeah, I see this stuff all the time.
I'm sure you do.
There's a lot of people, and then one of the comments that is pretty standard that I run across every that people make a comment about is start some sort of business out of your home gym, and you're able to use it as a tax write-off for new equipment.
Yes. Dude.
Can you explain how that works? I'm sure, I know you're not like a legal advisor, but can you explain how that may help out as well?
Yeah, for sure. So talk to the appropriate people, make sure that you've got your T's cross your I's dotted. So, but I can speak for myself. So the tax write-offs are awesome. I mean, that in and of itself makes running a micro gym very worth it. So any new equipment you purchase, you can write off. You can write off the depreciation of gym equipment over time. You can write off your internet bill and I've got a TV with, a couple streaming services that I can use. I wrap into those, the operating costs of my micro gym. And so those are write-offs. Like, you can make improvements to your house so long as it's directly related to the business, and you can write that off. So last year, or this past tax season, I got the most I've ever made in tax returns by a lot, because of the tax write-offs that I have. And, until you have a pretty steady stream of clients, most of your earnings are going to reflect a net loss. So that net loss is actually applied to your total earnings on that tax season. So you can, you'll report, in other words, through your accountant, a lower income. So you can actually change. And obviously there's a tax strategy, and don't take my word for this, do your homework, but you can, it may even affect where you fall in a tax bracket. So, there's an advantage there. So, and the tax write-offs, like I said at the top of that question, is in and of itself is very worth looking into starting you probably do too, Jake. I would assume, this is a business. You probably can do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Any equipment you purchase, I imagine, is something that you write off.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note,
it's like a gym. I think you posted about it, actually. You asked, what's like the biggest garage gym hack out there? And I was like, dude,
right.
LLC, that is the biggest home gym hack you could find.
You're definitely in the comments then. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's come up a number of times over the years.
Oh, so. For sure.
Yeah. On that note about kind of the structure and everything with micro gyms, that's one other thing that GoRX is offering with the platform and with onboarding and everything, is that we end up being consultants in that formation, and we help the individual gym owners, even if they don't have a kitted out gym or anything like that. We'll help individuals figure out what set of equipment that they should put into their garage gym for the type of fitness that they're seeking, or what will fit their space. And so, we end up acting as consultants in the beginning of people building that micro gym business and building that stuff out. And so with Andrew's experience of running that business through his garage and having a micro gym business and everything, he's learned a lot of those mistakes that people can make in the beginning. And he understands that, and he'll help and will help individuals, avoid those initial mistakes and get away from making some of those little hiccups in the very beginning to make this a very smooth onboarding process, but also a very smooth startup process for their individual startup at home.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great segue for sort of explaining the relationship between the gyms that will be on our platform and then, other gyms or other platforms. So we look at this as a partnership. What we're trying to do is we're trying to empower people to start their own business, right? So to become an independent business owner. So your affiliation is just that with GORX Fitness, right? So your affiliation over time that value will increase as an affiliate. So for what Trevor is basically saying is, as you onboard GORX Fitness as an affiliate, we're going to help you walk through that process wherever you are. So if you're starting from scratch, we'll help you figure out how you're going to outfit your gym. We'll help you navigate the local regulations, because if you're not looking at what the town thinks about home occupations, you need to do that, right? Before you do anything, make sure you're checking out what your town thinks about running a business from home. Mine has a few stipulations. I know there are states out there that require, handicap accessibility and stuff like that. So those are things that need to be navigated, and that we would help you now. And then obviously everything from your marketing and branding, that sort of thing. These are things that we can help you work through to add that value to that affiliation with us. So another thing that I think is probably worth mentioning, right, is how does GORX Fitness make money on this affiliation? So the way the other apps have been doing it, and there are a few out there that are still working on this, they are charging a subscription fee, and we're not going to do that. We don't do that. So the way we've modeled it is we'll take a commission off of each transaction through the app. So if you're not making money, we're not making money. And so that was like right from the start. I didn't want to take shit out of people's pockets until that they were making money. And so we're incentivized to make you successful, because that's going to make us successful, right? And so that affiliation is not like, we're not taking, from our perspective, we're not taking anything from you from the start. We want to provide value to you upfront. And then if you're successful, we're successful.
Yeah, it keeps that startup cost as low as possible, essentially.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And you don't have like some monthly platform fee that you have to pay in the beginning when you don't have any clients and you're trying to bring in your first set of members or gym users to your micro gym business. And so, on top of any of the other fees you may have each month, you don't have the GoRX platform fee or anything like that. And we hold on to, that, and we hold on to your space on the platform so that you can develop and build out your micro gym business and have that ability to be successful without worrying that you have payments to make because you're subscribed to some platform. And so, yeah, that's part of what we think is a big value proposition, especially in the beginning.
Absolutely. A lot of people that have reached out to us in the past, or not just the past, but recently, it's like, hey, I have a home gym. Where do I start? Okay, this is first thing you need to do. And on that note, I would say, if you're interested in, of course, you can hit us up through Instagram or check out my LinkedIn. I'm much more active on LinkedIn than I am my Instagram, but we have a free guide that people can download. All that we ask is for an email, and that you can access that guide. And that guide is pretty comprehensive. It'll take you, step by step, the considerations that you'll want to look into to start a micro gym. So a how-to guide to start a micro gym. So feel free to check that out if it's something that interests you. And of course, you could hit us up.
Gotcha. So those are a few differentiators from. There have been other companies who have attempted to do something similar to what you're doing right now. You mentioned, the guide and no upfront fees. But is there anything else that you're doing that helps you differentiate from those that have failed? The only one I've seen out there is Air Gyms, and they're out. But is there anything else that you think, is it timing that's different, or is there anything else that you think you're doing that will help you ultimately succeed as opposed to what others have done in the past?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest differentiators, if not the largest, is we don't take money up front. That's earned over time when you earn. I think another one is this is a partnership, so we'll that affiliation comes with Teach Coach mentorship through that process, and so there's value and differentiator there. We're also trying to build a brand. Like if you think of this as a business model, this can go in a lot of different places, and then we can add value to our affiliates a lot of different ways. So, I mean, some of the other marketplaces that are on our roadmap include programming, offering programming through the app, but paid programming that a coach can run in their gym or an athlete can use when they check into a gym. Distribution and manufacturing, not something that is even in the 5-year timeline, but a space that we could get into, obviously offering discounts through that. We want to place ourselves in between the insurance providers and the micro gym owners. Like, we want to be that conduit too. So there's an opportunity to provide some value there. Obviously, you can sell apparel and you can do a lot of different things. So there's a lot of different ways, including offering educational material to earn CEU credits to their fitness certifications, that sort of thing. These are all things that we don't have on the table right now, but are in our roadmap to incorporate as we grow. And of course, the first thing we're trying to provide is a service that people can use to start and manage their business, and that we went with.
Yeah, another aspect that we think can set us out in front of some of these other businesses that have tried and either failed or tried and slowed down is that we as a business are trying to help someone build their own brand, and so we have a lot of material that we'll be able to provide to them from the standpoint of going out and getting your initial clientele and being able to advertise for your home gym, micro gym business, and some strategies that take place that we can help you bring in that business at a little bit faster of a clip, where you're not making some of those initial mistakes like we've made in our micro gym businesses. And so we think that a big value add that we have, especially in the beginning, is that experience of going through the rough phase of starting up a micro gym from nothing. And so to make that as smooth as possible, we think is one of the bigger value adds that we have in the beginning. Yeah. And then, of course, as network effects get bigger on the platform, there will be the opportunity to have people that are traveling or anything like that across the country then go use these micro gyms and use these home gyms. And so then all of a sudden you have a larger user base that could potentially be using your home gym, even if you're across the country from them. And so that will also bring value to gym owners. And over time, there will already be a customer base that exists for those gym owners. Of course, right now, because we don't have any users on the app and we don't have any gyms on the app live, that network effect doesn't take place yet, but over time it will. And we're really excited about that.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. You mentioned MVP, minimum viable product, earlier. I'd love to hear and minimal viable product, for anyone not knowing the term, and I might butcher this as well, but it's basically you launch a product with as little information or features, I guess, as possible, just enough for someone to be able to use. You see how they end up using it, and you kind of go from there, as opposed to trying to perfect a product by just guessing what people want. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the right strategy. I don't think everybody is kind of in tune with that strategy, but I like that. So I'd be curious to hear, like, what do you think the next steps for your app will be?
Yeah, good question. So as far as like a roadmap is concerned, we need to add bundle pricing to the app. So right now, a trainer can charge a subscription or a one-time fee for a drop-in or whatever. Bundles is something that is pretty common, obviously, that trainers offer and gyms offer. So that's a feature that we're going to need to incorporate. We also want to create a feature that allows these trainers to deliver their workouts to their clients. So if it's text-based programming or video, whatever that is, we want to build in that feature. So that's part of that roadmap. But we're weary about building that roadmap out too far, because we need to get user feedback. And so obviously, as developers and product managers, et cetera, we need to balance what we think people want with what people are actually asking, right? And so there is potential for quite niche services, fitness services, that users might bring, or gym owners might bring to our attention that we'll obviously want to incorporate. And so there's no way for us to be able to tell exactly how the market's going to respond to, what we're doing and certainly what we offer. So we've got those features that's on our product roadmap. And right now we're vetting developers to bring on board to help us build that out. So we're weary about building out too much too soon without actually getting those alpha testers on. And so this podcast, even for us, is partly an effort to get those alpha testers on board, like get some believers, people that like the idea, like what they like what we're about, and are willing to help us iterate those features or new features that we haven't even thought about into our product. So yeah, I don't know, Trevor, if you've got other thought or.
Yeah, I was just going to say, especially over time, as we have more users on the platform and get more of that feedback, and as we have a bigger user base, we'll have the ability to start forming partnerships with content creators in the fitness space and start incorporating some of their features from different applications or from different programs or anything like that into it to even provide more value to gym owners and gym users throughout. And so then we might be able to eventually have some cataloging to where there might be a list of workouts or WODs or whatever that someone using a gym could go through, and it would be tailored to, the exact specs of that home gym. So then you could pick that home gym will be listed with all of their different equipment selections. And then you can find workouts tailored to what that gym has in it. And so over time, we'll want to be able to build that stuff in. So then the users will not only be able to use somebody's home gym and for a smaller fee than maybe going to a gym, but then they'll also be ready with a workout, or we could have, suggested workouts or anything like that. And so over time, as we work with the MVP and we work with the alpha users on the platform to figure out, where people are drawn to when it comes to what they want to see in the product, then we'll be able to kind of mold it that way. And that's why we kept it with a basic MVP product, and we didn't try to build too many things into it. It's already a pretty robust product from an MVP standpoint, sure. which we've heard from multiple developers saying that we're starting out in a pretty good spot. But we're excited to get that feedback, that initial feedback, and start adding new features into it over time.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. And then as a whole, where would you say the micro gyms movement is? Do you think it's kind of peaked, or do you think it's going to keep going? Is it going to go back down? Obviously, you wouldn't do this if you thought it was going back down. But I'd love to hear where you think the movement of micro gyms is, if it's a movement. Just how is it right now versus where you think it may be in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah. So right now, I think it's not. What's the word I'm looking for? The community is like loosely affiliated, and it's mostly through connecting through Instagram and other social media platforms, but it's very robust. There are thousands of people that are running businesses from their home gyms right now. And I don't anticipate that. And it doesn't appear that from the research we're doing, that it doesn't appear that that's actually going to slow down. Because running your own business from your home gym puts a lot of money back into your pocket, especially if you're a personal trainer. So if you're training at like a New York Sports Club or Planet Fitness, they're taking 50 to 60% of what your that session cost. You're going to take 90% of that home, or more, depending on how you run your business and the platforms you decide to use. So I don't see that slowing down. Matter of fact, the boutique studio fitness category in the fitness space right now is going to be $22.5 billion by the end of this year. And the fitness industry itself is expected to grow to $1.5 trillion by 2025. So I don't see this being something that goes away. And I think we're seeing a democratization of, home economics, if you will. I mean, people are finding ways to make money with the things that they have. Right. So that is being bolstered by this peer-to-peer networking or gig economy. And so as more people are empowered to create their own businesses and their own cash flows, we're going to see more and more people use these services. And I think the home gym is a natural extension of that gig economy, like a natural evolution of Air Gym or the Airbnb type thing. Swimply, for example, I don't know if you're familiar with this platform, but Swimply is started out renting home pools. And
I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we use it here in North Carolina because it gets hot as hell out here. So, we use Swimply, but they're breaking into the space too. So they're going to be offering, a very basic, you can rent your home gym 1 hour at a time. Obviously, our platform is more robust than that, but so we're seeing even much larger platforms enter in this market because they're seeing the same thing, right? And the difference between GORX Fitness and something like that, like Swimply, is we are immersed in the community. We are immersed and passionate about our home gyms and these micro gyms, and we're connecting with people like you, Jake, who are influencers in that space. And because of that, I believe it allows us to have a beat on what's happening in this community that ultimately leads us to believe we are on the right track, that this is not going anywhere, that home gyms for rent is going to be a thing, whether it's GORX Fitness or another company. It was certainly up for grabs at this point, but I don't think that you're going to see this go away anytime soon. And frankly, gym goers, I think most people these days, and I don't have necessarily hard data to support this, but this is more of an observation, right? I mean, people want easy access to fitness solutions. We're still trending towards at-home solutions. I think the idea that you can get a gym, you can rent a gym from someone's home, have a private workout. You don't have to deal with New Year's resolutioners in the January, spike. Like, that's really appealing to people. People like that intimacy of, one-on-one coaching or that, small group fitness space, because your clients is your community. They're in your community, right? So I think there's a huge appeal for gym goers in that sense. And it's just exciting. It's exciting to see that there are people that are taking their life into their hands. Of personal trainers are like, this is shit I want to do. This is, it's time for me to make it happen. And it's exciting to see that there are platforms that are helping do that. So a really roundabout way to answer your question, which could have been simply, we don't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
And on that note, I have worked been in a professional career for about 10 years now, 12 years now. And the move from working in the office to working from home brings about a large amount of flexibility for people. And so maybe if somebody's not necessarily comfortable renting out their home gym while they're not home, well, now we have more and more people at home all day long, at home working from their home for these big corporations or anything like that. But they're at home now. And so then they can monitor, the activity in and out of their own, fitness studio space and everything. But it also, allows for that flexibility there with that. And we don't really, all indications are that work from home and the telecommuting aspect of the world is only going to grow more and more common. And so with that, I think that it's going to provide more and more opportunity for people to do something of this sort, or have their own home business and then also work in their career.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're seeing this globally. There are people that are starting micro gyms globally. I mean, the team that was building the app, they're the lead engineer trained at his trainer's home gym. So this is, there's a guy named Simon. He runs Black Box Micro Gym. I've been connected with him for a long time, and he's been doing the same thing. He's in Germany. We're connected with another micro gym owner in Cyprus. So there's a global appetite for this as well, which we've built a platform to support that. So if, side note, if you're a person that's, in a different country, you're certainly welcome to jump on the platform too, because we
not unique to the US. Yeah.
Absolutely not. No. And the home gym community is not unique to the US too. I think the market's probably biggest here, but it is certainly not unique.
Very cool. I think I think all boils down to what Andrew said, easy access to fitness. There's a lot of ways to do it. I think home gyms are just one of the ways. But yeah, I think if you can find the right niche within that bucket of easy access to fitness, there is quite a lot of room to grow.
Absolutely.
But before I ask how someone can get involved with alpha testing, anything else you want to say before we close it? Anything that I missed, or just something you want to get across to the audience?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I'm looking at your notes here. They look like I think we hit most points. Trevor, do you have any thoughts there?
I don't think so. I just think we want people to be excited about this. We want people to revolutionize kind of fitness access across the country and across the world. And so, we want to bring some excitement back to working out at home. Well, to working out at home, right? Not necessarily back to, because the trend is trending in that direction. And so, we just want to convey our excitement about this and convey that we want to empower anyone that has that vision to own their own micro gym business, or to even just make a side income with this. We want to empower them in the best way that we can to get that to be a successful small business. Yeah,
for sure. And just to jump into your second question. So if you're looking to be an alpha tester or jump on the platform, I mean, it's super simple. You can hit us up, or you could just go to our website, create an account. There's two steps to it. So it's a normal onboarding process for any app. You're going to submit a couple of pictures, some information about your home gym. We do an external review. So I will say, generally speaking, not any home gym is going to be suitable for GORX Fitness, but I imagine most people who are interested will be. And so we'll do that quick review, and then we'll send you a notification to the setup and can finish the onboarding process. We really need those alpha testers to take notes about that onboarding process, like what are the kinks, what are the pain points, because if we didn't get it right, obviously we want to improve that. And then obviously we go from there. So we would be in close contact with you throughout that entire process, especially that first cohort. So go to our website, download the guide if you're starting from scratch, or if you're just curious about more. You can go to the app, which you can access through the website, gorxfitness.com. The app is app.gorxfitness.com. And then, obviously we'll know when someone applies to be the alpha tester. But if you got questions before you do anything, you can hit us up personally. Like, I'm on LinkedIn, pretty active, I said before. And obviously we on most socials.
Yeah. And on that note, when it comes to us, approving or not approving new gyms onto the platform or anything like that, it's not just a flat rejection. Most of the time what it will be is it will be just an evaluation that, okay, there's some things that need to change before we would say yes to have you on this platform. And so then we would love to go into consulting you on what would need to change and what we believe would help make your space successful as a micro gym business. So in that sense, you're not just going to get a flat rejection from us. It will be, hey, we recommend making these changes before you would go live on our platform.
Yes. And here's a good example. So if you have a large gym or a large garage, and you've got your home gym on one side and you've got all your tools and your toys on the other side, you're probably going to want to create some separation between those two. And there's multiple reasons. There's tax reasons why you want to do that, but also liability reasons. So that might be feedback that we provide. Like figure out storage for your tools, separate them that are not easy access, maybe lock them behind a toolbox, that sort of thing. So that would be an example of feedback that we provide. Say you would need to make some changes to the space itself, because it shouldn't necessarily mix with personal things that are not related to the business.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. I think that's going to
awesome.
do it.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.